Hey, 49ers fans, the season has been nothing short of a roller coaster. And as we inch closer to some of the biggest games on the schedule, the spotlight on this team is hotter than ever. One thing that has stood out all year is the performance of our defensive stars. And if you've been following closely, you know that certain players have stepped up at just the right moments to keep this team in contention. Upton Stout's recent game against the Seahawks is a perfect example. It wasn't just a standout performance. It was the kind of game that could define a career in its early stages. Plays like his pass breakups and key tackles didn't just help the team win. They were game-altering moments. When you look back at some of the most critical points this season, it's clear that the defense has carried us through some tight spots. And now, as we prepare to face a formidable Eagles team, all eyes are on who will step up next. The challenge heading into this matchup is multi-layered. The defense has consistently been asked to rise to the occasion, creating turnovers and making stops in high-pressure situations, and the Eagles will not make it easy. Every team in the league knows the kind of talent the 49ers have on the defensive side of the ball, and yet, the key question remains: who will be the player to make the biggest impact? The uncertainty is part of the thrill. Past performances like those game-defining moments against the Rams and the Cardinals serve as reminders that the defense can swing the momentum entirely, but nothing is guaranteed. With injuries affecting the linebacker core and other critical positions, the team is forced to rely on a mix of seasoned veterans, unexpected standouts, and players who have been thrust into larger roles than originally anticipated. The linebacker situation has been particularly unpredictable. Players like D. Winters and Luke Ford have been evaluated throughout the week, and while both have contributed when called upon, neither has the comfort of consistent game time this season. Meanwhile, Curtis Robinson and Garrett Wallow have emerged in a way no one anticipated. Wallow, who was only recently on the Broncos practice squad, has been thrown into starting situations because the roster has been decimated by injuries. It's wild to think about how quickly circumstances can change in the NFL. Every injury shifts the dynamic, forcing coordinators to adjust schemes, players to adapt on the fly, and coaches to trust guys who may not have been counted on for this level of responsibility at the start of the season. The ability of these players to rise to the occasion could very well determine how competitive the 49ers are in this upcoming clash. Injuries are, of course, part of the narrative this season, and while some updates are worrying, there are glimmers of hope. Eric Kendricks stepping in for Tatum Thun, who is out for the season with a groin injury, represents one of those necessary adjustments the team has had to make. The absence of players like Thun changes not only the defensive schemes, but also the chemistry on the field. Add to that the uncertainty around key offensive contributors, such as Ricky Pyra, and the puzzle becomes even more complex. These are not minor changes. They affect the way the offense executes, how the playbook is used, and ultimately, how the team matches up against a dynamic opponent like Philadelphia. Despite the challenges, there are moments to celebrate. Brock Purdy, for example, came out a recent game unscathed, which is crucial considering the volatility of injury reports after tough matchups. Every healthy starter makes a difference, particularly when the roster depth is being tested. Meanwhile, the team's wide receiver core has faced its own set of difficulties, with players like Jacob Cowing potentially stepping into critical roles if others are unavailable. Cowing's speed and ability to create separation could be the kind of game-changing element the 49ers need if they want to stretch the field and keep defenders honest. The offense, anchored by talents like George Kittle and Christian McCaffrey, has the potential to be explosive, but execution and opportunity are everything. And against a disciplined defense like the Eagles, those moments are harder to come by. Kyle Shanahan's approach this season has emphasized adaptability and creativity, but even the best play designs rely on players being able to execute under pressure. With wide receivers missing key games and defenses targeting our stars, every snap becomes a test of preparation and mental fortitude. The contrast in performances against teams like the Seahawks underscores just how critical timing and placement are. It's not enough to have talent. Players need to be in the right position, make the right decisions in fractions of a second, and capitalize on opportunities. When the offense clicks, the team can dominate, but when it doesn't, weaknesses are exposed quickly. These inconsistencies are what make the build-up to the Eagles' matchup so intense. Looking at the statistical landscape, the 49ers' strengths and weaknesses are clear. Special teams, for example, have been a hidden advantage all season. The team ranks near the top in performance metrics, offering an edge in field position and scoring opportunities that cannot be overlooked. Conversely, certain areas of offensive production have been underwhelming, with games where not a single 49er wide receiver ranks among the top performers league-wide. That's a stark reminder that even highly talented teams can struggle without cohesion, execution, and a little bit of luck. Players like McCaffrey and Kittle are capable of changing the complexion of a game, but they need support and opportunities to do so. Without consistent contributions from the rest of the offensive unit, the burden falls on a few, which can make sustained success challenging. At the same time, defensive matchups remain an area of optimism. The Eagles have shown strength in certain areas, particularly on offense, but the 49ers' ability to generate pressure, create turnovers, and respond to big plays keeps them competitive in even the toughest contests. The history of this team shows resilience, the capacity to rise to the occasion, and the ability to capitalize on opponent mistakes. That resilience will be tested to the max in this matchup, with a combination of injuries, personnel rotations, and strategic adjustments will define the outcome. It is this unpredictability that keeps fans engaged, analysts guessing, and players focused on executing at the highest level. The coaching staff's role cannot be understated in this scenario. From pre-snap adjustments to in-game calls, every decision matters, and the adaptability of Shanahan and his team will be on full display. Past seasons have shown that disciplined, well-coached teams are more likely to overcome adversity, and the 49ers have exhibited that discipline in ways that were not always apparent in previous years. Fewer penalties, smarter clock management, and more effective play calling have made a noticeable difference. And that consistency will be critical when facing a team like the Eagles that can exploit even minor mistakes. As we move deeper into the season, the challenge of facing the Philadelphia Eagles looms large, and it is one of those matchups where every detail matters. The Eagles are a team that combines physicality with speed, and they have a knack for exploiting even small mistakes. Their offensive line can create pockets for their quarterback to operate, while their skilled players are capable of stretching the field and testing defensive limits. For the 49ers, this means preparation is not just about knowing the playbook. It is about anticipating adjustments in real time and responding with precision. Each player on the field must execute their role flawlessly, because at this level, small gaps and missed assignments can quickly turn into game-changing moments. The wide receiver situation for the 49ers has been a recurring topic all season, and it becomes even more critical in a game of this magnitude. Without consistent production from players like Brandon Ayuk or the possibility of Ricky Pierce being sidelined, the team is forced to look deeper into the roster for players who can create separation and make impactful plays. Jacob Cowing's speed and agility make him an intriguing option, particularly in scenarios where the defense may not be expecting him to be the primary target. But it is not just about speed, it is about route discipline, the ability to read coverage, and timing with the quarterback. Every snap becomes a puzzle, and the success of the offense hinges on the ability of these receivers to turn opportunities into tangible yardage and, ultimately, points on the board. The offensive line has also been under scrutiny this season, and for good reason. Protecting the quarterback while opening lanes for the running game is never easy, but the 49ers have consistently demonstrated resilience despite injuries and personnel changes. When facing a defensive front like Philadelphia's, which can bring pressure from multiple angles, the offensive line's ability to communicate, adjust, and maintain discipline becomes a deciding factor. This is where preparation meets execution. The best-laid game plans can fall apart if the line cannot handle stunts, blitzes, and unexpected alignments. In many ways, this unit is the backbone of the team, and their performance could very well dictate whether the 49ers' offense has room to breathe or is forced into a reactive mode. Special teams continue to be a hidden advantage for the 49ers, and in games like this, that advantage cannot be overstated. Field position kick returns, and coverage units have all contributed to momentum swings throughout the season. When the offense or defense is struggling to find rhythm, special teams can create opportunities that change the game in a matter of seconds. A well-timed return, a blocked kick, or a perfectly executed coverage play can put pressure on the opponent and energize the team. While it may not grab headlines the same way touchdowns or sacks do, these plays often tilt the balance in close games, and the 49ers have been remarkably consistent in leveraging this aspect of their roster. Defensively, the 49ers are being tested in ways that are both familiar and new. Injuries in key positions, particularly at linebacker, have forced unconventional lineups and rotations. Players who were not expected to start have been thrust into critical roles, and yet the coaching staff has managed to maintain a high level of discipline and execution. Upton Stout's recent performances serve as a blueprint for what is possible when preparation meets opportunity. The ability of any defender to make decisive plays, whether it is a forced fumble, a pass breakup, or a critical tackle, could dictate the outcome of this game. Against a team like Philadelphia, who can exploit even minor mistakes, each defensive play carries weight far beyond the stat sheet. The dynamic between the 49ers offense and the Eagles defense will be fascinating to watch. Philadelphia has shown the ability to neutralize certain threats while giving room for others, making unpredictability a key factor. The 49ers must be able to stretch the field, create mismatches, and attack zones of weakness without becoming one-dimensional. This is where Kyle Shanahan's offensive mind shines, designing schemes that allow multiple threats to operate simultaneously, forcing defenders to make difficult choices. But execution is the linchpin. No scheme, no matter how brilliant, can succeed if players hesitate, fail to read the defense correctly, or miss a critical route. Every yard gained or lost is magnified, and the pressure to perform consistently across 4 quarters is immense. Quarterback play will also be under a microscope. The ability to read the defense, make split-second decisions, and adjust on the fly is critical against an Eagles defense that has the speed to disrupt timing and force turnovers. Accuracy, timing, and trust in receivers are more important than ever, especially when some of the usual offensive weapons are unavailable. George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, and Jawan Jennings remain essential cogs in this machine, and their impact is heightened by the responsibilities of those around them. When the team functions cohesively, they are capable of producing explosive plays that can shift momentum in seconds. But when any link falters, the Eagles are ready to capitalize. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the San Francisco 49ers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a move that has sent shockwaves through the NFL, the San Francisco 49ers have reportedly made a bold splash in the defensive market, setting the league abuzz with speculation. Trey Hendrickson, one of the most feared pass rushers in recent seasons, is apparently joining the 49ers' already formidable front. While details remain scarce, insiders suggest that the team's front office has been quietly orchestrating a deal that could transform the way opposing quarterbacks view Levi's Stadium. Hendrickson, known for his explosive first step and uncanny ability to pressure even the most elusive QBs, has made a name for himself as a relentless edge rusher. Rumors point to the 49ers envisioning him as the missing piece in a defensive puzzle that already includes stars capable of disrupting offenses from multiple angles. Analysts speculate that pairing Hendrickson with the 49ers' existing defensive line could create a nightmare scenario for anyone dropping back to pass, potentially shifting game plans around the league. The buzz isn't just about statistics. Sources close to the team hint at Hendrickson's leadership in the locker room and his knack for elevating teammates' performances as key reasons the 49ers were reportedly willing to pursue him aggressively. While some skeptics question whether the fit is ideal within San Francisco's defensive scheme, others suggest that this could be a strategic gamble with huge upside, capable of redefining the team's identity as a defensive juggernaut. NFL insiders have also started speculating about the potential ripple effects of Hendrickson's arrival. Could this prompt other teams to bolster their pass rush core in response? Might this shift the balance of power in the NFC West? And of course, fans are already imagining the pressure Hendrickson could unleash on top-tier quarterbacks, turning games into high-stakes chess matches where one misstep could mean disaster. While the league remains tight-lipped and no official confirmation has been provided, the sheer magnitude of this rumored acquisition has dominated discussions among pundits and fans alike. The intrigue isn't just about what Hendrickson brings individually. It's about how his presence could elevate the entire 49ers defense to an almost unthinkable level of intensity. For now, the NFL world waits with bated breath, knowing that if these whispers prove true, San Francisco may have just engineered one of the most talked-about defensive gambles in recent memory. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the San Francisco 49ers, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.